Hi everyone! For today's video, I want to talk to you about reduction lino print. I know that I've showed you how to do a lino print in a previous video, but recently I've been experimenting with different colours, and today I want to try a reduction lino print. So with reduction lino print, you're basically using the same lino block and then you're carving it away to layer colours on top of each other. Let me show you what I mean. So, for example, in my last lino print video, I showed you how to make this lino print, which is basically where you carve away the areas you want to stay white and then you print what's left. With the reduction lino print, you're going to carve away the areas, then print the first colour, then carve away more areas to print the second colour, and so on. So how I got inspiration for this idea was I started just layering prints on top of each other, but these ones are two different lino blocks, so I really wanted to try it with just one. So I'll show you my process and we'll see how we get on. So for this lino block, I got some inspiration from a William Morris print, and that's where I got these two motifs here. The rest of it I created myself. I just sort of improvised and created like fronds and flowers and the circle. I'm thinking that I'm going to cut out the white areas in between all the fronds and then try and have the circle yellow. I'm going to start with my lightest colour and then go to my mid-tone, which will probably be green. And then finally I'm going to finish with the dark navy colour. I think that will look good, but I'll have to see how it goes. I haven't tried this before just with the same lino block, so it's going to be an experiment, but they're the most fun things. In terms of things that you need, I don't have a printing press, so I'm going to have to improvise. The main thing with reduction lino print is that you have to register the colours exactly on top of each other, or else you're going to get this effect here. I don't know if you can see it, where one of the colours is kind of bleeding out over the other one. So you want to avoid that if you can. And it happened with this one because the block on the background was smaller, so it would have happened anyway. But just to give you an idea, if you're using the same block, you want it all within the same square. So how do I do that? Well, I have an A3 piece of card and I cut a rectangle here where my lino block is going to be. So that's an A5 and my lino block fits exactly into that. And then you can see here on the back, I also measured a piece of A4. And then I put these little pieces of card here so that when I place my A4 page here, it won't move. Or it shouldn't move. Hopefully it won't move. We'll see. I think I'll end up putting the lino block down first, then my mount, and then my page. But I'm not sure. The important thing with this is that you need to do all your prints first of all, because once we start cutting away, we can't get it back. So I'm planning on doing between 9 and 12 prints, depending how much ink I have. My first step is going to be carving out the areas I want to remain white. Whatever's left is going to be printed with yellow. I'm going to leave that dry probably overnight, and then I'm going to come back and go on to my second layer. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll see how it goes and I'll bring you along on the journey. Well, I'm back today and this is my print that I did yesterday, which is here. And I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I'll try and get it in the frame here. It's pretty dull outside today, so can't really maybe see it properly. That's it. And it turned out really nice. So my plan today is to cut out the areas of my lino print that I want to keep yellow, and then I'm going to move on to my next colour, which I think will be red or possibly like a light pink. So I still need to make that decision. This is my lino block. One of the things that happened is that the drawing that I had on it got washed away when I was washing off the ink. Something else I might do today, either before or after I start carving, is I'm going to draw in the areas of the image that I need to draw again. And then I'm going to cut away the areas that I want to stay yellow. So I think that if I'm thinking about my original image, probably the sun and the sunflowers, and I'll decide then about the tree branches or other fronds. I might just do a mixture where I keep some the same colour, like yellow, or I might put the second colour on some of them as well. So the colours are going to be layered on top of each other, so you have to bear that in mind as well. The first layer has to be completely dry, because you don't want the ink mixing with what you've already put down. So let's see how it goes. Well, here I am. I'm ready to start going with my second colour. You can see after you start carving the area, you'll be able to have a better idea how it's going to look. I decided to kind of go with this like outline effect, and my colour is going to be kind of a pink or a light red. That's the plan anyway, but plans change. I did do some carving that like wasn't quite mirrored on the other side, like with the birds for example, but I'm just going to go over it anyway and see how it turns out. And I think for my last colour I'm not going to have too many areas to carve out after this. I'm just going to go with a dark colour for like certain parts to highlight it. But let's see how the second colour goes first. Hi everyone, it's day 3 of my printing reduction print lino process, and this is what I made yesterday. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. There are some things that I would change, mainly my jig that I set up. I ended up not using it and kind of abandoning it halfway through because I just couldn't get the alignment correct with this one and it was just going over the edges. So I only have about 4 where it actually worked out really well, and that's out of 10 altogether. So that's something that I need to be aware of, and what I did in the end was just put the lino print block directly onto the page so I knew exactly where the alignment was. And I'll probably do that again today just because I don't want to waste more prints, and it's really a shame when it comes out kind of blurry. I'll show you an example of what I mean. So this is an example of where the alignment is off. You can see it there on the edges where the pink and the yellow are not quite aligned, and then the pink is a little bit lower. So, I mean, as an image, it's not terrible. Just has the effect of kind of making you think you need glasses or something, like it's out of focus. So in the end, I just got about 4 that were the standard that I want. Another thing that I need to be aware of is, you might have seen in my last, when I was doing the print for this one, in my practice print, I rolled the ink onto the lino block while it was kind of in the square in the jig, and then that meant that like I got some ink kind of on the outside here. And it's not the end of the world. I can always like crop these or put a mount over it. It's not quite straight anyway, but just to make life easier for myself, I'm going to wear gloves today to try and kind of mitigate that, and also it makes the cleanup easier, even if it's a little bit less environmentally friendly. So I guess it's about knowing what your strengths are and your weaknesses as well, and definitely when it comes to measuring or alignment or planning things perfectly into the future, I don't really do that because it's more of an intuitive thing as I go along. But I guess the downside of that is that there's more waste or things that do go wrong. But I guess if you're not making mistakes, then you're not learning things that are difficult or that are like beyond you a little bit. So I don't mind if I make mistakes. Today I'm going to go with my third colour. So that's going to be a navy, and I'm thinking I'm going to try and keep the inside of the flowers kind of a blue colour, and something with the birds as well, and I'll make their eyes blue. But I don't know exactly how much I'm going to cut away or how much I'm going to keep yet. I think I'll end up cutting away most of the lino block today, and then I'll do a print, and then if I need to cut away more, I'll do that. But I'm looking forward to another day of working with this, and I'm also happy that it's coming to an end because it's quite time consuming, and though I'm happy with the results, you do need quite a big block of time to undertake something like this. So that's just a little warning to you if you're thinking of doing this. I think it's better to do it in sequential days. It seemed like there was enough time for my lino, the ink to dry in between sessions, even though I used oil-based ink. But if you're using watercolour paper or wetting the paper before you put the print on, you'd need more time than that. And yeah, I guess I prefer things where I can see the results a little bit more immediately. But that's a personal preference, and I'm still really happy that I did this because I think I'm going to end up working with this method a bit more in the coming weeks and months, but I'll probably stick to doing it maybe just like once a month or something like that. Anyway, I'll keep going with the video. I'm going to carve it, then I'm going to print it, and we'll see how it turns out. So all in all, I've created 2 pieces of work, and I'm pretty happy with the technique in itself, the reduction lino print, but I will probably just stick to doing 2 colours, which would be this one, because I don't think the 3 colours really worked out this time. It's not to say I won't try it again, but in a way I think maybe it's overcomplicating things just having the 3 colours. Um, but I'm glad I tried it, and I do have some nice prints that I can show for an exhibition or just keep for my own work. So I wish you success with whatever technique you're using, whether that be reduction lino print or just ordinary lino print. Thanks for watching.